Everyone has access to high-tier fame farming and good silver. Over the course of this video, I will show you the 2.5 hours that I spent getting a brand new character from character creation to tier 4 gear. For those who are extremely new to the game, fame is basically experience. It's how you get to the next level of gear. Fame gets categorized into specific skill trees depending on what gear you're wearing. You essentially get to skill into the gear that you are wearing when you kill a mob. If you're trying to fame farm in a blue zone, you might not have noticed how little fame you are getting. The grind to skilling up in a blue zone or even a yellow zone is a very long slog to get to higher tiers of gear. High level farming is a lot more accessible than you might believe, and I proved it by taking a new character in tier 3 gear and getting them into tier 4 gear in less than an hour. You can get any class, any gear to tier 4 without using learning points and without having a premium account. The gameplay that you see over the course of this video is a playthrough of me creating a new character, leveling up to tier 3 gear in a blue zone, and then leveling to tier 4 in the black zone. Leveling to tier 4 requires more fame, but it took me less time to get to tier 4 than it took me to get to tier 3 in the blue zone. While it might be possible to fame farm the black zone in tier 2 gear, tier 3 gear is a more reasonable minimum for fame farming in the black. But that's the big secret. You don't need high tier gear to fame farm in the black zone. Black zone rewards are dramatically better than blue or yellow zone rewards, both in silver and in fame. To showcase you the difference between blue zone and black zone fame, here's a side-by-side comparison. To the left is a tank class mob that I took down in a blue zone solo dungeon, and to the right is a tank class mob that I took down in a black zone solo dungeon. In the blue zone, I get tens of fame. In the black zone, I get hundreds. It's hardly even on the same scale. If you can wear tier 3 gear or better, then you can fame farm in the black zone and get the benefits of black zone fame farm today. The goal of this video is to equip you to fame farm in the black. Here's how you do it. The first step is to get yourself to Caerleon. If you base yourself in Bridgewatch, Thetford, Lyndhurst, Fort Sterling, or Martlock, you can easily get yourself to Caerleon by moving all of your gear and equipment into the city chest and walking to the travel agent. It costs you nothing to travel to Caerleon when you're not bringing anything, but you cannot fast travel to Caerleon with any gear at all. Traveling to Caerleon without any gear presents an obvious problem. If you're low on money and have no gear, then how do you gear up? The answer is quite simple. You beg. I openly asked for 10,000 silver to get my starting set of gear. In Caerleon, a player named Rig approached me and gave me 50,000 silver in response. That was very kind of him, but if you're going to repeat this process, check and see if you can use a tier 3 horse. If you can use a tier 3 horse, then 10,000 silver should be enough, because tier 3 horses are actually cheaper than mules in Caerleon. And you will need a mount of some kind in order to take advantage of the black zone. Ask for 20,000 silver to be safe. For most people who frequent Caerleon, 20,000 silver is not a huge amount to be handing out to new players who are trying to learn the game. Once you buy your first set of gear, you can get yourself into the black. You can go out to any region on the left side of the black from the Realm Gate. The green regions are the easy black, the lowest tier mobs, usually mobs that are almost as easily beaten as the mobs in a blue zone. There are several kinds of good content that can be run by one person by themselves. I'm going to go over 3 good kinds of solo content that a new player can get into. Roaming mobs, green dungeons, and blue dungeon surfaces. Roaming mobs are found all over Albion, everywhere. These mobs are actually very good for fame. The individual mobs gives good fame, better fame than comparable mobs in a dungeon. The trade-off is that they don't give as much silver, and they're low density, meaning that you spend more time traveling searching for mobs than you would spend fighting mobs in a dungeon. Killing roaming mobs is a good way by itself to earn fame. The second way to earn fame and silver is green dungeons, also called solo dungeons. These dungeons are tuned to be run by one person and contain one boss and either 1 or 3 chests. The surface outside these solo dungeons can also be good to run, but not all solo dungeons have good surfaces. Finding the solo dungeons is easy once you know the pattern of the Black Zone regions. If you look at the Realm Gate map, you will see what look like 4 diamond patterns made with the portal regions. All of these diamonds follow a similar dungeon pattern. If you draw a line between the 4 corners of the diamond, there are 3 regions between each diamond, even when the diamond is shaped a little bit irregularly. The first region in the line always has between 1 and 3 green dungeons. So 2 regions next to each gate have green dungeons, so each diamond has 8 regions that have green dungeons in them. And since Anglia, which is the green dots, has 2 diamonds, that means in Anglia alone, you have 16 regions that you could go run solo dungeons in. The last kind of content is the surface of blue dungeons. This is the hardest and riskiest content that I will list here. This is a kind of content that you want to run if you have a small group of friends that you want to fame farm with, and you should generally want to have one of those friends as a healer. Blue dungeons are sandwiched directly between each realm gate, so 2 regions away from each realm gate you can find 2 different blue dungeons. There are 4 blue dungeons per diamond, making there 8 blue dungeons in Anglia. If you want to challenge yourself and play on the wild side when you get your tier 4 gear, then blue dungeons should provide a sufficient challenge for you. Only run the surface though, because the inside of the blue dungeons is meant for group content only. The surface of it can be run solo and has many chests and several bosses. Getting knocked down by mobs in the Black Zone is not a death sentence. Over the course of my run, I got knocked down several times. When you get knocked down, you can be instantly killed by any player that happens to find you. But if no player finds you for 20 seconds that you remain knocked down, then you can get back up and remain invisible to mobs for a short duration, allowing you to reset and control how and when you fight again. When you get knocked down, your gear takes 10% damage, so always remember to repair your gear when you get back to town. Your gear will start losing power if it gets below 50% damage. The last thing that you need to know is that the Black Zone is indeed dangerous, but it's not so dangerous that you should not go there. The rewards are well worth the risk, and if you're using flat tier 4 or tier 3 gear, then you earn back the cost of your gear in such a short amount of time that replacing your gear becomes easy. You cannot lose silver out of your wallet if you get killed in the black, only your gear gets lost. There's a lot to learn about keeping yourself safe in the black, but that is the subject of another video. Get out there and earn some fame.